Hey, Status D, please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon, click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. And don't forget to click on the notifications just so you don't miss any amazing content. I've just done a separate video, an amazing video on a gentleman in his 50s that's kind of struggling to date and things like that. And I get messages from guys that are also struggling to date at all ages. His 50s, I'm in my 40s. I've never struggled. There was a time up to when I was about 29 when I just didn't know the etiquette, and I kept on failing and I didn't understand why, and I'm certain that that's a lot of the reason. It was definitely the reason for that guy in his 50s. Separate video, absolutely amazing. Make sure you check that out. I'll put the link above. Coach Carl's going to tell you what the actual situation is for people in all age groups and the mistakes you can make discussing the age thing with a girl. Let's see what he's got to say.
Part of me wants to say what's up, part of me is worried like this.
The most common mistake I see older men making when it comes to attracting young women is their frame and the way they handle the age gap in the interaction. Now, at the end of this video, I'm actually gonna show you line by line how to handle that conversation. And the way that you're gonna go about having that conversation, it kind of depends on a couple different factors, because you're most likely in one of three different age groups. You're either in group number one, which is like the young dude group, which you probably hear a lot, like, you're too young for me. Then there's group number two, which is somewhere between ages 25 to 40. And as you get to the tail end of that group, you're gonna start to be more and more concerned with the concepts I'm talking about in this video. Or you're in group number three, which is ages 40, 50, 60 plus. And that guy is probably thinking to himself right now, I'm wondering if I can still get the young, attractive girls that I really want, or is it too late for me? Regardless of which group you're in, the answer is yes, you can still get the girl, but it's a slightly different dynamic depending on which bracket you're in. So before we get into the subtleties of each bracket, first we need to understand what are women actually attracted to, because when I was earlier in my journey, I just thought it was strictly about the age gap. Like when I was 26, 27, 28, I just thought, okay, well, a girl that's like 21 most likely wants a dude that's a couple years older than him, and anything beyond that is gonna be too big of an age gap. And as I got more and more experienced, eventually I learned that that was not the reality of the situation. And in fact, it really doesn't have too much to do about the actual numbers, but there's other characteristics that men possess that can determine attraction. Instead of looking at the actual number of your age, I want you guys to start thinking about characteristics that women find attractive in men, which is their confidence, his experience in life, his ability to be a leader. Can he lead the woman properly? Is he resourceful enough? Is he a good protector, a provider? Can she trust him? Does she admire him? Does she respect him? And is there to some extent a minimum threshold of physical attractiveness as well? And that is a part.
Let that sink in. But these are the things that, in his point of view, that the ladies are looking for. They're not necessarily just put off by the age. Let's go.
I want you guys to start thinking about characteristics that women find attractive in men, which is their confidence, his experience in life, his ability to be a leader. Can he lead the woman properly? Is he resourceful enough? Is he a good protector, a provider? Can she trust him? Does she admire him? Does she respect him? And is there to some extent a minimum threshold of physical attractiveness as well? And that is a part of this that you need to understand as well. There is a minimum threshold of physical attractiveness that you're gonna need to hit regardless of your age. So if you look ridiculously young, if you guys look like you're prepubescent, then obviously the girl's not gonna be into you. And if you're an old grandpa looking dude, like straight grandpa, and you don't take care of yourself, then obviously you're gonna get disqualified as well. And even if you're in that middle age bracket, somewhere around 28 to like 35, if you don't take care of yourself, like some of the dudes I know that are around my age, I'm about to be 35, they look old. They look really old for their age. And I promise you that dude is gonna get tested and disqualified way more than a guy like me that's maybe older than a dude who's 31, 32, but I take care of myself. I look more youthful and I display a lot of these other traits. So it's not necessarily about the age itself, it's about all of these other characteristics. Now that we understand that, let's go into each one of these age groups and I'm gonna explain to you guys what to do. So if you're in that first.
Listen, I'm agreeing with him 100%, but I've got to say this as well, because I'm older than him. So it's that, but it's also got to be an interesting proposition of what you put on the table. So if she's going to have a conversation with you and she may well be playing with her hair and she's looking all pretty and she's flattered by the attention, but number one, like you said, you need to be at that minimum physical level of attractiveness yourself as a man, realistically, and that's always been the case. That's always going to be the case. But if she's going to entertain a conversation and you've got those social skills and there's a little bit of flow to it, then it's about what things do you have in common with her. And to be honest, this is a lot of the reasons why a lot of older guys say they don't want to go for younger girls. Excuse or not, That's what they say. But they're absolutely right in as much as whatever proposition you need to say needs to be not too damn serious like you are her dad, because you're going to be in that kind of pigeonhole, that little box, a little kind of assumptions are going to be made about you. So you got to have these things in common. You got to want to do fun things that a 20-year-old's going to want to be interested in. You know what I mean? You've got to make that your introduction or your kind of conversation open and breezy, where it feels like, yeah, I like the energy of this guy. I get on with him. We can have a conversation. We can have fun things to do. And guess what? If you're the older man, so you're in your 40s like myself, you're fine, and you talk to somebody who's 23, 24, or even 30, we're going to finance it. So get that round your head. So you need to be there. And as I say, if you can't offer fun dates and there's nothing... If in your 30s or 40s you can't offer anything more than somebody in their 20s, then why are they going to be with you? Unless you are Brad Pitt stunning. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Look, anyway, let's go.
Group, you're the younger, youthful looking dude, you're gonna wanna watch this video in full anyway, because time's gonna fly by, and before you know it, you're gonna be in that middle or upper age bracket, and you're gonna wish you understood these concepts at a really young age. But if you are in that group for right now, the main thing you wanna understand is your appearance needs to be not super youthful. If you look like a little boy, then you're gonna get disqualified. You need to have some level of muscle mass, some level of maturity in your outfits and your presentation and the way you communicate. So if you're a nervous little boy who's immature, and the way you talk and the way your voice sounds and the way you look is all just screaming out young dude, even if you're like 23, 24, 25, a girl might still tell you you're too young for me. And then even if you were to say no, but I'm actually 25, suddenly she's not going to change her mind about you. She will still feel like this dude gives off little boy vibes. All right. And it's more about the vibe and the demeanor that's making you come off really young. So you're going to need to work on these qualities. And I'm not going to dive too much into that in this specific video, but be sure to watch the content on my channel, because I explain all of these different concepts in a bunch of the videos on my channel. Let's move into age bracket number 2, because this is where most of the dudes start to experience these concepts of getting tested for their age. You're insecure that you're approaching 30, or maybe you're already in your 30s or late 30s, and you're starting to think, damn, the girls that I want are like 22, 25, 27. I feel like I'm too old for these women. And honestly, guys, if you feel like you're too old for those women, you're right. You are too old. That's the whole thing behind this, guys. If you feel like you're too old for these women, you're too old for these women, period. And I can tell you this because as I was 27, 28 years old, I started going out more to these college bars in Morristown, New Jersey, where I grew up. And I would see these women that were like 21, 22, 23. It was a very young crowd when I was out. And initially when I would go out, I was 24, 25, 26. I didn't think it was a big deal. Once I turned 27, turned 28, I started to think that I was approaching 30. I started to really get in my head about these interactions I was having with younger girls. In fact, I was actually insecure. I would avoid certain topics of conversation, and I would deliberately not ask these women how old they were, because I knew that instantly they were gonna put the question back on me and ask me, how old are you? And at which point I would be kind of like sitting there nervously answering the question. And that's where I would go wrong with this whole thing. I would fail these tests. I would display high levels of insecurity around my age. And think back to what I was saying earlier in this video. Women are attracted to confidence, experience.
No, I totally agree with him. Oh yeah, definitely. As you get older, I say, once you go up in age, yeah, you've got to level up in terms of the kind of areas and the peer group that you socialise with. But I think more so than anything else, sometimes it's about them. But again, if a woman's going to talk to you, then there's plenty of people who've got very, very good social skills, could chat up anybody in most situations. It's about how the person feels insecure in themselves. And obviously things in common, like practically, you know what I mean? Definitely. But also that person can talk themselves out of any kind of confidence interacting with people, even if that person technically is a mature younger person. And well, could have been a life partner, who knows? But we'll never know. Insecurity. Not everything, definitely some of it.
Leadership skills, a man who's decisive, a man who's certain, a man who could protect and provide for her. That's typically a dude that's older than her, if you think about it. So why are we going into these interactions with the mindset of, I'm too old for this woman? If anything, you need to understand she's looking for a dude who can protect and provide and be confident and lead her, who's experienced and resourceful. So when girls are asking you certain questions and you give off uncertainty, lack of decisiveness, insecurity, low levels of confidence, what kind of leadership qualities are you displaying in your answers? So it has everything to do with the way that you're going about answering the girl's questions. It's not
Focus on that. I didn't get all the things, but it's 100% on point. If you're talking to anybody, and I guess in this instance it's because somebody's younger and you've got that uncertainty, what's your chances? What's your chances? First impressions, you come in with some detectable uncertainty about you. You come in with some detectable low confidence about you. And everything else that he mentioned on that list, I mean, you're just showing yourself to not be worthy. So, yeah, you've got to get your head right first. And you've got to be confident. And you've got to get past those hurdles in your mind first before you go out. I say if you're going to be surrounding yourself by a younger peer group, or for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe you don't have kids and you need somebody of childbearing age and you're in your 40s or 50s like the other guy was talking about in the other video, think through those questions. They're not necessarily going to be put off, I say, unless you kind of highlight yourself to not be of the standard of man that ain't going to be wasting their time.
necessarily about the age gap if you're in that middle bracket. It's more about the way you're answering any of these questions, not just with age, by the way. So the key takeaway if you're in group number 2, guys, is it's mainly gonna be about your frame when you're in the interaction. It's the way that you're handling the girl's questions. And also, if you are in group number 2, guys, you need to take care of your physical appearance. I don't think that it's gonna be that big of an issue yet, but as you start to age into your 30s and start to approach your 40s, if you're not on top of your self-development, if you're not on top of your skincare routine, if you're not on top of your weight loss and your physique and the way you dress and your grooming, you can look really old. I know a lot of dudes that are actually younger than me that look significantly older than me. And it has everything to do with the way you take care of yourself. So if you're watching this video and you're concerned about as you're getting older and you want to be able to get youthful, attractive women in your life, I cannot stress how important it is to take care of your physical appearance while implementing the other concepts in this video. So now I want to get into
physical appearance. Absolutely. So I'm in the bracket of what he's talking about. So I'm in my 40s. He's talking about whatever age, anything above 25 to 40. Right, cool. So if in yourself, whatever age you are, that dressing in a way which is kind of smart casual or just smart ain't your strength, and you look like a piece of shit, you're putting your kind of sexual market value down, because physical appearance and dressing smart and looking sharp are things that matter to women. So if we don't rank that high ourselves and we just let that kind of slack to the wayside, we can feel secure in ourselves that we just removed ourselves from the dating market. Or we just made chatting somebody up significantly harder. Or maybe we just made it absolutely impossible. So yeah, we've got to be on top of our physical health. And I've seen examples of people who are older who struggled. They've got the beer bellies, things like that. And not everybody. Or they've just got some excess weight or something like that. For goodness sake, get in shape. These are solvable things which will give you a chance. And if you sort it out for the reason that Coach Carl said a little bit earlier, when you add that to all your assets and your stability and your maturity and all that, you should be the prize. But you just kind of completely undercut yourself. So you left yourself with nothing. Don't make excuses. The physical and the appearance. And if you're not a good dresser, then you're going to need to start buying some men's magazines. Luckily also on my channel, I've got some kind of styling advice. I've done like kind of, kitting out your bachelor pad, and done shoes, and I'm going to do a lot more videos as well, so just stay tuned. Let's go.
group number 3, and then I'm gonna lay out for you guys exactly how to handle these conversations with women so you can take back the frame in these conversations if she's testing you. And now let's move on to group number 3. So let's say you're the dude who's 40, 50, or even 60 plus years old. You're pretty much in the same situation as group number 2. The only difference is that it's a little bit more exaggerated. So it still has to do with your frame, the way you run these interactions, the way that you're confident in the conversation, the way that you could be a leader. Clearly, the older guys typically have more resources. They're a little bit more experienced. They typically have a little bit more of leadership skills because of how old they are in their life compared to like a dude who's 30. But the difference is with the older guy is he's gonna really need to appear more youthful in his energy, in his conversation. He has to have some level of like being hip or understand younger women. He needs to just not be a fucking grandpa is really what it comes down to. If you look like a grandpa, you sound like a grandpa, and you act like a grandpa, it's gonna be really hard to attract girls that are really young, like 20s or even early 30s. It's gonna be difficult. So you're gonna need to optimize your appearance, and then it also has to do with the way you're running the interactions. Let's talk about how to actually handle the conversation of how old you are and when most dudes fail this test. Because guys, when I was 27, 28 years old, I failed this conversation more than I do at age 34. I need you guys to understand that I got tested about my age and failed it more at 27, 28, 29 than I ever did at 33 and 34 years old, which is crazy to think about, but it actually confirms everything I'm explaining in this video because it doesn't have to do with the age. I failed it more when I was younger. I don't get tested on it when I'm older because I do these concepts properly. And the thing that I do differently at 34 is that I don't wait till the girl asks me my age and then I close off and I get insecure and I dodge the question and then I say some sentence that's like, I hope you still approve of me despite my age. Do you still like me? Instead, what you want to do is you want to flip the frame. So instead of waiting for the girl to ask how old you are and then for her to tease you on you being old, you want to playfully tease her that she's clearly younger than you. You do that before any age number gets discussed. You set the frame that you're the older, more confident, more resourceful leader who's not going to take this girl so seriously. All right, the more that you can inject that frame into the conversation, the better position you're gonna be in. And even when it comes to the question of age, I would actually prefer you guys ask the girl first.
What's your name? Who are you? What's up? Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah, so, wait, how old are you, by the way?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. I think you're too young for me. I can't talk. I don't think I should talk to you.
Before it goes any further, you say, wait, hold up, how?
Genius. Genius. It's the elephant in the room. You've got to take owner of it. You've got to flip that energy so that, you know what I mean, you front foot it. It's still going to be there, but you got to front foot it. Definitely. I like that. Just to run through some general problems that I've noticed with older men. Obviously greying. So if you don't mind going on that slide and these kind of visual cues that you're significantly older than when you were younger. Yeah, white hair, grey hair, all of that stuff. Yeah. Do you want to keep track of that? Or do you want to let it go? Do you want to have basically what I'm really saying is, do you want to have a real chance with the younger girls? Or do you want to have like a much lesser chance? Well, I don't know. What do you want to do? More hair in general, through the nose, through the ears. You know, just keep on top of that stuff. Don't ignore the mirror. The mirror is your friend. Yeah, just be on top of the body, the workouts, like you said. Make sure that you are in shape. You might not care necessarily whether this ain't right, that ain't right. The person that you're trying to attract being an operative word, may well care. And why should they compromise on yourself? You are competing with the entire dating market, including people in their 20s. So, you know, make it more much of them. I'm as good a shape as I was ever in my life. Just by calisthenics. I'll do videos on YouTube. I haven't done one in a while, but they're in the inventory, so definitely have a look. You don't want to give that daddy energy. Again, that's the grey hair, and it's kind of like, you know, that kind of big brother kind of energy that you give to somebody. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. You're not their brother. You're not their daddy energy. You're not their best friend. You're not trying to put your arm around, I don't know, some flaming, call that Girl Scout type energy. You know what I mean? You're virile, you're mature, you're experienced in all the necessary ways. You know what I mean? So all is good. And you also have to have things in common. So again, when you're thinking ahead about what you do have in common, what are you doing? Let's hope you got an active social life. So it doesn't matter if you like to stay in and cook things sometimes. That's really good. Doesn't matter if you like to go out and eat at different places around. I'm in London, around London. Obviously, that's going to sound great. You might want to go to museums every so often, go to exhibitions, go to some live music. You know what I mean? Of different types. It depends on what's on, what's interesting. Go to comedy nights. I think you more or less covered everything. But if hand on heart, all you want to do is just stay in and do nothing, or something towards that extreme, and you're trying to attract somebody who's in the middle of their youth or at the beginning of their youth, then you're not equally yoked. So you've got to think about whether you're ready for this game. You know what I mean? Basically, yeah, that. Yeah.
How old are you, yo? You got to say that in a playful way that implies that she's younger. So if I'm acting as if she's younger, I'm not taking her that seriously. I'm playfully challenging the girl. And even the way that I go about asking her age is done in a playful way. You might even want to throw out an assumption that implies she's even younger than you kind of think she is. So if you think she's like 23, 24, 25, 26, you say, wait, hold up, how old are you? Like 23, 24? Or if you think she's even younger, you kind of imply that she must still be in college Or you could even joke that she's in here with a fake ID. Yo, who let this girl in with a fake ID, yo? And again, all of these things are done in a fun, playful way where you're not being too serious, because that's how you handle the age gap. You don't take it serious, you don't answer it logically, you don't get insecure, you keep it fun, you're confident, it's not a big deal, and you're teasing the girl about the whole thing. And when that's done properly, and you've also worked on your appearance, and you can actually maintain some level of youthfulness, you can get away with being an older dude that the girl's attracted to. I went from being 29, you're too old, you're a grandpa, to when I'm 34, girls saying, oh, that's not bad, I actually like older men. When you make the switch, girls will stop picking on you and teasing you for being old, and instead what they'll actually start doing is qualifying themselves as to why they're more mature for their age than they really are. I've seen the flip over the years, okay? And it's only because I did everything in this video.
Coach Carl, mic drop. So there we go, sorry. Mic dropped. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, young man. You thought through exactly what you wanted to say in this video. It wasn't 1 minute, not 1 second wasted in my point of view. There's so many people who potentially can be helped who are going to watch this video between the two of us. You're in your 30s, I'm in my 40s. You're a dating coach, I'm a man of life experience living in a very busy city. And yeah, I think the ones who know will know, basically. If they don't believe me and they don't believe you, Kyle, then let's hope they're right. And that's all we could do. Anyway, please like, subscribe. All the best. All is good. That is Steve and I am out.